Oh, man's got a grumpy face. How about a happy face?
No.
Not a grumpy face. He's mad that I won't do the faces on Facebook Live. Maybe we could try them at the end.
You always say that, but you never.
Oh. Okay, we have to try the faces at some point today. But today's book...
Your mom do like me.
I do. Is that your mask?
Yeah, I'm
That
kind
was the one that Mav wanted to try the masks, right?
Mom, I want to do it when we're doing the book.
Let's do a separate video right after.
Okay.
We could try that. And then you can try the different ones.
Can we do it about Robin Hood?
Like, we'll stop this one, and then we'll do a little one about masks. Just about masks, and you guys can try the different ones out. Sound like a plan? Okay. So, we're having lunch. We are going to read a book. There's some people there. Natalie's there. Auntie Natalie says hi, guys. I know Nana's already watching. This is a book. I'm a little nervous to do this one, you guys.
Why?
Because it's about a big topic that's happening right now in the world.
What
Talking about Black Lives Matter. This book is
What
called...
are Black Lives?
What do you think Black Lives are?
Mom, why are you nervous?
Do you get an idea from the picture?
Pictures?
There's a picture.
Mom,
Yeah.
why are you nervous?
Well, because when I do a Facebook Live, I don't know what you guys are going to say. So I'm never sure. And this is a topic that lots of people are concerned about right now.
What is concerned about?
Like they're worried about it, they're talking about it, they're trying to learn more about it. So this book is called...
We don't need to learn about it because you do it.
Oh, because I do it. They don't need to learn about it. I'll see about that. So this book is called Gordon Parks, How the Photographer Captured Black and White America. I picked up this book when I was at the Real Life Conference. I was at Powell's Books in Portland, Oregon. And this book, I've never seen it before. I actually didn't know this photographer's name. It just grabbed my attention and it seems like the perfect book for right now.
And I have seen it before. Like, I looked at it.
Yeah, it's been at our house for a while. I think I even read it to you guys already. But it might have been a while ago.
No,
you don't think so?
we had it.
But why do you think I chose this book?
Photographer.
Because photographers are important to me. And I also chose it because it's talking about black photographers. What does black mean?
Does black? What does black photographers mean?
What does black photographers mean?
They like take pictures that are black and white.
Oh, it could be that they take pictures that are black and white? Could it also be the color of this guy's skin?
It's brown.
He's got brown skin? Okay. Gonna move on. Are you ready?
Yes.
Gordon Parks, that must be the photographer's name. How the photographer captured black and white America.
Mama?
Yeah.
Is this a real book?
It is a real book, and it's about a real guy. The youngest of 15 kids. Parks arrives stillborn and is nearly left for dead until a dip in ice water shocks his tiny heart to beat. The baby is named for the man who saved his life, Dr. Gordon.
Dr. Gordon.
Dr. Gordon. When young Gordon crosses the prairies on horseback, nothing seems beyond reach. But his white teacher tells her all-black class, "You'll all wind up porters and waiters." What did she know? After Gordon loses his mother at age 14, he moves in with his sister in Minneapolis. Soon on his own, Gordon works odd jobs: busboy, piano player, and finally, porter and waiter. So this looks like when he was a busboy. Do you guys know what a busboy is?
What?
It's when you clean up dishes at a restaurant. And then what's this picture of?
I'm doing the piano.
Being a piano player. And then this one is a waiter and a porter. Porters bring things. And his teacher had said, that's all you'll be able to do. You won't be able to have a different job.
But he can.
How come?
This whole story is him taking pictures.
Oh, so you're thinking this guy might be the photographer?
Look.
Okay. So you think this boy might grow up to be this guy.
No, Mom.
Yeah?
Because look at his skin.
Oh, his skin is giving you some information?
Mom.
Yeah? Okay. 25 years old and all but broke when a magazine spread about migrant farm workers, What's a farm worker? Farm workers inspires him to buy a used camera. He paid $7.50 and it's the best money he will ever spend. Oh my goodness. There's a couple things that tell me that this book happened a while ago.
Yep. What is it?
Well, I was thinking that he was riding on horseback across the prairies. I was thinking that the camera only cost $7.50. And I was thinking that this is a story about a man's life. So he's probably older. Because it tells about when he's a kid and then when he's an adult. In 1 month, he teaches himself enough for an exhibit at a camera store. Soon he is shooting fashion and portraits.
No, what are those?
Let's see if it tells us. Soon he's shooting fashion and portraits. One model tells him to take his camera to the big city. It looks like those are workers that he's taking photos of.
Oh,
They might be fishermen
and military.
or military.
All of these are black and white.
All the pictures are black and white?
That's right.
Oh. And you know what else? I know that black and white pictures are usually from a long time ago. In Chicago, Gordon's shots of struggling families on the South Side win him a chance to be a government photographer. He leaves the Midwest and turns his camera on Washington. So they're talking about, he lives in the United States, and they're talking about different cities in the United States.
Blah.
Gordon wonders, what should I shoot? Search for a subject, says his boss. Any questions?
Nope.
Cool. In the nation's capital, he passes the White House and the Supreme Court.
What's a court?
Court is like where lawyers and a judge, if somebody breaks the law, they go to the courthouse to find out if they have to go to jail or if they have to pay a fine or if they're not guilty.
Mom, what does pay a fine mean?
Pay a fine would be like if you get a ticket, you have to pay money to make it right. So this is the White House. It says in the yeah.
Mom, what was the last one?
The Supreme Court. A courthouse is where a judge works.
No, the last question about the bad guy. And like what?
Oh, he might be not guilty.
What
does guilty mean? Guilty means like you did it. Like somebody could say, Kane, you broke the window. No. And you would say, I'm not guilty. I didn't do it. And you know what? We have to prove it. No. We don't just get to, no, we're just making up a story. I know you didn't break a window. There's no broken windows in our house.
Stop! I don't like you talking about it.
Oh, okay. I'll use a different example.
Stop being a
No, you don't need to say anything to him about that. So when, let's say a bad guy, not even a bad guy, let's say a guy robs a bank. And they say, you have to go to court. We think you did it. But he's not guilty until they can prove that he did it. Everybody has a chance to prove. So they're not guilty until proven guilty. In the shadow of the Capitol, he sees black families living in alley dwellings. He can see that blacks have it harder than whites. What's harder?
I don't know. And maybe about the family.
The family? He passes statues, monuments, and memorials to mighty heroes, but there are enough photos of white men carved in marble and granite. He glimpses whites-only signs in shop windows and learns firsthand that even if there is no sign, it doesn't mean that a black man will be served. And this says, Capitol Restaurant, whites only. What does that mean?
It's the people who are white. Like us.
Okay. And what does it mean? What does whites only mean? Only white people are allowed to go in?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know it used to be like that?
Yep.
You've heard that before, Kane?
No, I just know it.
You knew it. Do you think that's okay? Me neither.
I think you should go to jail for that.
You think you should go to jail for that? Boiling mad, Parks vows to lay bare racism with his lens. He shares his vision with his boss, who points him toward his subject. Talk to her. She knows struggle. Talk to who? That lady? She knows struggle. Do you know what the word racism means?
Good.
Do you know what racism means? Races are where people come from and the color of their skin. So sometimes people get treated differently because of the color of their skin. Isn't that crazy? That's what we're talking about. That Black Lives Matter. This is Ella Watson, a cleaning lady in the building where Parks works. She supports 5 children on just over $1,000 a year. Even back then, that wasn't very much money.
How much was it?
It would be different now, but it wouldn't, like, to have 5 kids and have to pay for your rent and your food and your electricity. That's a lot of things to have to pay for out of that amount of money. The photographer follows her for weeks. Home, church, to work at 4 o'clock in the morning. After a long day, she studies the Bible with her family. Gordon takes pictures of her grandchildren too, dressing, eating, reading, playing, not yet knowing the racism that they will surely face.
Racism.
What racism? Well, these kids don't know that they're going to have different chances because of the color of their skin. Not everything is equal. Over his long career, Gordon's photos will run in Vogue and Life magazines, their first black photographer. He will write novels, make movies, and compose music and poetry, and be hailed as a Renaissance man. That's where he's making a movie. So he is the first black photographer to work for these magazines. That's a big deal. But Gordon's most famous shot will be American Gothic. In the newspaper, the photo exposed to the nation the unfairness of segregation. Segregation is where you split people apart. Like white people over here and black people over here. Standing before the flag of freedom. Do you know what flag that is?
Yeah, American.
The American flag.
Why does it say freedom?
Well, because people feel like America is a place where everybody has freedom to make their own choices.
Used to tell us what it's slavery.
There was slavery there.
Okay, that's one of my favorite books of I Survived.
So you're making
What is King saying?
I'll tell you again.
I survived the Civil War
So
of
is
1999.
Is that one of King's favorite?
No, one of yours.
So we...
No.
It's okay if it's not.
I don't like that war one.
Can I tell them about it? On Epic Books, there are audiobooks, and there's I Survived books where the main character goes through something. And one of the books is about I Survived Slavery.
No.
Did you listen to it?
No, I listened. I survived the Civil War.
And the Civil War. You guys
No,
really like
that's-
those books.
No,
I
it's
survived
not
the Civil War is the slavery one.
Okay, that makes sense to me because I know about that time. Can I keep reading this book? Standing before the flag of freedom, cleaning lady Ella Watson holds the tools of her trade and the hopes of her grandchildren. What's the tool of her trade?
I don't know.
What's
A
her tool that she's
broom.
holding? Yeah, because she's a cleaning lady, so they're saying the tools are her cleaning supplies. She knows all too well that the opportunities the flag symbolizes are denied to her because of her skin color. Do you know what that means?
What?
That she doesn't get to do the same things as white people because she's black. Do you think that's okay?
No.
What do you think?
No.
I don't know.
Yet she...
Those guys are making bad choices.
Those guys are making bad choices.
Yeah. about like whites don't get to do what blacks do, and blacks don't get to do what whites do.
Oh.
No, whites get to do what blacks do and what whites do, and blacks only get to do what they.
Do you think it's changed since when this book was written
Mm-hmm.
about? I hope so. Do you think it's fixed?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's fixed yet.
Why?
I think we're still learning about it
Nah.
and how to make things better for people. Anyways, back to our book. Yet she dares to dream of and strive for better. Through Gordon's lens, her struggle gained a voice. You don't have to hear her story to know her prayer. Oh, and then this is all about Gordon Parks.
Oh, Mom.
And this is his real photo. So over here they drew that picture. And over here is the actual picture. Do you want me to read you a little bit about Gordon Parks?
Look and look and look.
They might talk about those pictures. So it says, Gordon Parks was one of the most important photographers of the 20th century. Through art, photography, music, literature, and film, he pursued what he called the common search for a better life and a better world. Born on November 30th, 1912, oh, he was born a long time ago. More than 100 years ago. Do you think he's still alive right now? So he was born in 1912 in Fort Scott, Kansas. Parks was the youngest of 15 children in his family. His father, Andrew, was a tenant farmer, and his mother, Sarah, died when he was 15. He then moved to St. Paul, Minnesota, where he lived with his sister for a short time and attended high school until he was forced to quit. He held various odd jobs, including that of a singer and a piano player. While working as a railroad porter, he was so moved by a magazine photo spread about migrant workers that he bought a camera at a pawn shop. Although self-taught, he soon became a portrait and fashion photographer and landed an exhibition at an Eastman Kodak store. Marva Louie, a model and the wife of a wife of boxing champion Joe Louis, so Marva Louis, suggested that Parks move to a big city to further his career. He chose Chicago. A photo essay that Parks shot on Chicago's South Side won him a fellowship to photograph social conditions in America for the Farm Security Administration, a government-based agency in Washington, D.C. During his first days with the Farm Security Administration, Parks, stunned by racial segregation in the capital, shot his defining photograph of cleaning woman Ella Watson. Mrs. Watson supported 2 grandchildren and an adopted daughter on a salary of less than $1,000 a year. The iconic photograph of her holding a broom and a mop against a backdrop of the American flag would become known as American Gothic. In one iconic photo, Parks conveyed both the African-American struggle against racism and the contradiction between segregation and freedom. After the FSA closed in 1943, Parks...
What's the FSA?
The FSA is the Farm Security Administration. That's who he used to take pictures for.
Well, clothes.
It doesn't say why it closed. But after that, he built a successful career as a photographer for leading magazines such as Life and Vogue. Please don't.
Where are you?
Right here. As Life's first black staff photographer
Have you
and
already
writer.
done this?
I've done all that already. As Life's first black...
Are you going up?
Yep. Can I keep going? I'm almost done. As Life's first black staff photographer and writer, Parks photographed racism and poverty as well as leaders and celebrities. Committed to social justice, he not only documented but also served as an advocate for the civil rights movement. In his later years, Park proved to be a Renaissance man. He stretched artistically by experimenting with color photography, writing novels.
This might be one of the pictures.
I think that is one of the pictures. Writing novels and poetry, composing music, and writing and directing films. In 1963, he published the coming-of-age novel, The Learning Tree. Oh, sorry, is my head in the way?
These girls 5 kids, because there is 5.
Oh.
2 and 2 and 1 more.
Yeah, because they talked about her having 5 kids. Do you think this is the same person?
Uh-huh.
Me too. In 1969, when the book became a movie, Parks was the first African-American to write and direct a feature film. He also directed the 1971 hit movie Shaft. A humanitarian as well as an artist, Parks was awarded the National Medal of Arts in 1988 and held more than 50 honorary doctorate degrees. He died in 2006. He was in his 90s when he died. He lived for a really long time. This was a really interesting book.
And old book.
It actually was only written in 2015. It was only written 5 years ago. And it's written by a woman named Carol Boston Weatherford.
How old were we that then?
2015, it was just after you were born. And you would have been like 2 years old when this book was made. So this book is as old as Neville. Yeah, he would have been 2.
No, this book is only 5 years old.
And are they talking about what it was like 5 years ago, or are they talking about what it was like a long time ago?
A long time ago. But how did they know?
How did they know about what happened in the past?
Mm-hmm.
Good question.
Passing down the story.
Passing down the story. And do they have photographs?
Yes.
So that's a big piece of why photographs are important and people's writing are important, so
Mom,
we can
what
learn.
does that say?
That one says whites only. Yeah, I'm so glad that part has changed, and I hope more things are changing.
I'm so
Because
glad that
people are talking about it. Kind of a hot topic right now. I was nervous to talk about this with the boys because I didn't know how they would react. And the best I can do is continue to learn and continue to talk about it.
Mom, I can't eat all the chips.
And we're done with chips, apparently. Do you guys want us to wave and say goodbye? Kane saying goodbye. Nav, are you going to wave and say goodbye?
Bye.
Bye.